welcome to Live Parkinson's, Live an Exceptional Life. I'm your host, Chris Custenbotter, and I've been living an exceptional life with Parkinson's for the past 14 years. The purpose of this podcast is to help as many people as possible living with Parkinson's to live a great quality of life. Now, today's topic is goal setting and overcoming challenges with Parkinson's. I want you to imagine this. You're crushing your goals in 2024. You're conquering challenges with power-packed toolkit designed specifically for Parkinson's warriors. You're unlocking your full potential, proving that even with Parkinson's, exceptional living is within reach. So, Parkinson's warriors, are you ready to shake up your routine and not your confidence? Rewrite your story with the power of SMART goals and join a community of unstoppable Parkinson's heroes? Then buckle up, because this episode of Parkinson's Power Up is about to launch you into the most victorious year yet. So let's chart the course for this episode. I'm going to be sharing a number of personal stories and stories from others to illustrate the power of goals and the results you can achieve by following goal-setting framework and using the free toolkit that I'm going to provide in the link in the description for this podcast. In addition, to thank you for listening and sharing with others who can benefit from this podcast, I will share my personal 2024 weight loss and fitness tracker, including my goals that you can use and personalize for your needs. Since it's in a Microsoft Excel workbook, it's all ready for you to go and enter your own goals and information and begin tracking your progress. So here's what we'll be covering in this podcast. The first part, we're going to be talking about living with Parkinson's and the power of setting goals. And then we'll move on to goal setting with Parkinson's, and I'll give you some practical tips on how to do that. Section 3 is my personal goals for 2024 on weight loss and exercise, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on those. And then finally, we'll wrap up with overcoming challenges to your goals. So let's get going on the Parkinson's Power Up and Crushing Our Goals in 2024 podcast. First, let's look at some statistics on New Year's resolutions. And this is according to a website I found called InsideOutMastery.com. And they report that 38.5% of U.S. adults set New Year's resolutions every year. So just slightly less than 4 out of 10 people. 59% of young adults 18 to 34 have New Year's resolutions, which make it the largest demographic that sets these goals. 48% of people said they want to exercise more as part of their New Year's resolution. This really struck me. 23% quit in the first week, and only 36 make it past the first month. So those statistics tell me that they didn't set very good goals and have a strong background on their goal-setting process. So hopefully we'll be able to walk you through that then. 9% successfully keep their New Year's resolutions, and then 43% of people expect to give up on their goals by February. So why do most New Year's resolutions fail? Well, according to the article, 35% of the people attribute losing motivation as the top reason for giving up, followed by they were too busy at 19%, and then changing goals and priorities at 18%. Now, the main reason why people fail is the timing of New Year's resolutions. While these people want to achieve change, they have yet to be ready and commit fully to making the change. Now, what they found was successful individuals reported more stimulus control and willpower. Social support and interpersonal strategies became an important part after the first 6 months of their pursuing the goals. And then finally, and this is one that I want to highlight, is that successful people are likely to experience 14 slip-ups during a 2-year interval, indicating resilience and the ability to bounce back from setbacks is essential for goal success. So I thought that was key. Most successful people have 14 slip-ups. So let's take a look at living with Parkinson's and the power of setting goals. As I mentioned in the statistics I just read, one of the key pieces to setting and achieving a goal is the commitment, dedication, and personal buy-in you have with the goal. So if you're not personally invested in it, you're not going to want to actually complete the goal. And that goes back to 23% quit in the first week and only 36% make it past the first month. So let's be completely honest here. It's easy to create and set goals It's merely writing them down or typing them on the computer. That's the easy part. The difficult part comes when we put our goals into practice. Now, if we haven't fully committed or internalized our goals, we'll be part of that 23% that quit in the first week, or the 36% in the first month. So what we need to realize is that we're going to face challenges and obstacles to achieving our goals. But if we're truly committed and we're fully invested, we'll be able to overcome the challenges and obstacles and achieve our goals. So let me start out by sharing my own personal journey and goal setting after my Parkinson's diagnosis. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's when I was 46 years old. I just turned 60 this past September. And after I was diagnosed, on my hour ride home from the University of Maryland Neurology Clinic, I had time to think about the diagnosis I had just received. And I realized I was at a fork in the road, and I had two options. The first is I could just give up and feel sorry for myself and be angry and go home and drop out of doing a lot of the activities I enjoyed and just quit and just be angry and think to myself, why me? Why is this happening to me? And just start to isolate myself and let Parkinson's take control of my life. After all, I had tremors and trouble walking, so that could limit me in going out in public and be an embarrassment to my family. I thought I could take that road, or I could take the second option, which is I could take control of my life and bring Parkinson's along for the ride. So, as I thought about it for about 3 seconds, I chose the option number 2, that I was going to take control of Parkinson's. Now, this set me on a 2 to 3 month quest to learn as much as possible about Parkinson's. And what I did is I began studying people who are doing exceptional things with their Parkinson's diagnosis. I believe that if you want to truly learn and be successful at something, study people that are already great at it. Number one, it's going to save you time. If you can model what they did, it's going to reduce the time it takes you to learn something new and be successful at it. And then what was it about these people that, even though they had Parkinson's and most of the symptoms that we all experienced, tremors and rigidity and the other things, how were they able to run a marathon or cycle 100 miles or develop a new program to help people where they would go out and do public speaking? How were they able to do that? And that was important to me, because it's one thing to do the research, but it's also another thing to actually take what you learn and put it into practice. And it's what the people that I studied did. They took what they learned and they put it into practice. So what I did is I took my research and the results of studying these exceptional people, and I developed 4 strategies or goals, what I'll call them pillars as well, that I was going to live by so that I could not only live with Parkinson's, but I could thrive with Parkinson's and have an exceptional life. I've always lived a positive life, so I didn't want to just have Parkinson's and say, well, I'm just going to take control of my life, but just continue down and have an average. I wanted to have an exceptional life with even though I had Parkinson's. So the 4 strategies I developed were exercise, nutrition, attitude, community, and social interaction as part of community. So what I did is I took the 4 strategies and developed specific and measurable goals that I was going to live by to meet my ultimate goal of living an exceptional life with Parkinson's. Now, my goals were, with exercise, I was going to exercise 7 days a week and include a broad range of exercises and fitness classes. So I was going to include swimming, cycling. So I was going to do aerobic exercises. I was going to do stretching and flexibility. I was going to do strength exercises, and I was going to work on my balance. So I wanted to do that 7 days a week. And then in terms of nutrition, I was going to eat healthy foods and that help fuel my body and try to limit the amount of junk food and fast food and processed foods that I eat. In terms of attitude, I was going to maintain a positive attitude and use mindfulness and meditation to help me reduce stress. So I always look at things with the glass half full. Like if you talk to most people that find that I'm a very positive person, and I always try to look at the positive versus looking at things from a negative aspect. And then finally, number 4, with community and social interaction, I was going to remain an active part in my current social groups, while at the same time expanding the activities that I wanted to participate in. So I joined the York JCC Momentum Program for people with Parkinson's and other neurological disorders. And that was a great way for me to expand my network of friends that also had Parkinson's. Because I was fully committed to these goals and focused on them, I internalized them. Now it's 60 and living these and using these 4 strategies for the past 14 years, I was able to successfully live an exceptional life with Parkinson's because I stuck with these goals and they were my core, and I believed in them, I visualized them, and I want to be able to share the same with you, is that you can set goals, and as long as you have a firm belief that you can complete the goals, you're going to go a long way. So one of the best ways to achieve your goals is to visualize yourself achieving whatever it is you set out to achieve. So what I always tell people to do is, and I do it myself, is you close your eyes and picture yourself and how you feel when you achieve your goal. Let's say you may have a goal of getting over a fear of flying or public speaking or weight loss or to exercise more. If you can picture it in your mind, it's easier to achieve. As the saying goes, what your mind can conceive, the body can achieve. So whatever your goal happens to be, if you sit and visualize, think of yourself, for instance, I want to lose weight. I visualize myself looking healthier, looking thinner, and being more active. And so I get both my mind and my body to buy into the goal, and it's going to be a lot easier to help me achieve my goal. Using goals has helped me achieve things that I didn't think I could do, but as I internalized and visualized them, I've been able to do some things. For instance, I'll give you some examples. When I first started to swim, if I swam 3 or 4 laps, I would get tired. But one of the goals I set was I wanted to swim a mile 3 times a week. So I visualized myself swimming a mile, and I sat and I did that for several days. And then I continued to break the goal down into smaller pieces. So I started out by, I want to be able to swim a quarter mile. And then I got to the quarter mile. I wanted to do a half a mile, then 3/4 of a mile. And then I built up to where I was able to swim the mile 3 days a week. And I started this podcast because I was passionate about helping other people live a great quality of life with Parkinson's. And it's been a great experience for me. I really enjoy sharing information to help people and their families live a great quality of life. And now in 2024, I'm even stepping further out of my comfort zone. And I set a goal of starting a YouTube channel to help more people with Parkinson's live a great quality of life. And it's going to be called Tremors to Triumph. And I just posted my first YouTube video trailer. And while I know I need to improve my editing, I achieved my goal of launching the channel. And you can find it on YouTube by searching for Live Parkinson's. Now that we understand the power of goals, let's talk about goal setting with Parkinson's. So how do we set goals? Well, that's a good question. Well, before we actually take the time to set goals, we need to decide, what do we want to do? How do we want to change? What do we want to learn, or what do we want to improve on? So usually we set a goal because of those type of things. We want to change something that we're currently doing. Maybe we want to learn something new. We want to improve on what we do. Then it's important enough. Then we have to decide if it's important enough for us that we're going to stay committed to achieving the goal. For example, let's say you want to improve your gait by joining a walking group. But if you aren't committed to showing up and participating in the walking group, there's no point in spending time on writing all the goals down. Because if you know in your mind that it's something that you're not really interested in, you're not going to do it. So make sure that you set goals that you're committed to and you believe in. Now, we've decided we want to set some goals, and it could be to exercise more, lose weight. Maybe we're going to join a support group and lead some discussions. We're going to do public speaking, whatever it happens to be. So let's set some goals. Now, I like to use the SMART framework for setting goals. Now, you may be asking yourself, what's the SMART framework? Well, let's break it down. It stands for S is specific. You want to make your goals as specific as possible. For example, don't just say, I want to lose weight in 2024. So that's very broad and ambiguous. Be as specific as possible. I want to lose 25 pounds in 2024 by losing an average of 1 to 2 pounds per week. So that's very specific. Or I want to learn to play guitar, and I'm going to spend an hour every night guitar practice, and I'm going to learn the basic chords that I need to play songs. So those would be specific goals. I want to exercise more is a very vague goal, where you could say I want to exercise 5 days a week, and I want to include these types of exercise. Those would be specific goals. Then the M is measurable. The goal should be able to be measured. For example, let's say we just discussed what does it mean if we measure and we want to lose 2 pounds a week and a total of 25 pounds at the end. So that's a way we can measure our progress. So we're trying to lose weight, and we say we want to lose 25 pounds and we want to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. So we can measure that. So each week we're going to measure our weight, and we may even want to do percent weight loss. But at the end of whatever the specific time period which we probably should have added, maybe it's 6 months. So at the end of 6 months, were we able to lose the 25 pounds? So it's important that you have specific measures. So if it's, I want to do strength training 3 times a week, and I want to increase my ability to do curls, tricep extensions, those type of things, then those are specific measures that you can measure. What did you start at? Let's say you started at 5 pounds for bicep curls, and then you measure that 2 weeks later, and now you're up to 7 or 8 pound dumbbells doing bicep curls. So those are all things that are measurable. Then the next is A for achievable. Now you should have some ability to reach your goal. Even if it's a stretch goal, if it's something that's going to be too difficult that you don't have the ability to do, you're not going to do it. So make sure that you are able to, when you set goals, it's something that you're able to achieve. Now, setting goals that are unattainable is not only going to frustrate you, it's easier to take that goal that you think is unattainable and break it down into more achievable pieces or smaller pieces, and then set goals on those smaller pieces. And then as you complete those goals, add another. So for example, let's say you want to learn to play guitar, and because you've read music, and you can help, that music can help your Parkinson symptoms. Instead of setting a goal that you're going to play Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin in its entirety with the solo, when you're just learning to play, just starting to break it out, start by breaking the song down into goals. So you might say, I'm going to learn the intro. And then once you've learned the intro, then I'll learn to play verses 1 and 2. And then once I've got verses 1 and 2 down, then I'm going to learn verses 3 and 4. And then finally, you get to the solo, and you might say, well, the solo is 3 or 4 minutes long. I'm going to break it down into pieces depending on where you're playing on the neck of the guitar. So you might take that solo, break it down into 3 pieces. So as you complete piece 1, you add piece 2, and then add piece 3. So as you complete each goal, and you're one step closer to your ultimate goal of learning the song. And then at the end, you're able to take all those small goals that you had and put them together, and suddenly you're able to play the song to Stairway to Heaven in its entirety. So it was something that seemed unachievable at the beginning, but by breaking it down into smaller, more bite-sized chunks, it's easier to help you get to your goal. And it's taking those little steps to help get you there. And then R is relevant. When thinking about whether your goals are relevant, they should be, number 1, aligned with your values and your long-term aspirations. So is the goal something that you really want to do? And am I going to be able to stick with it for the long term? Ask yourself, does this goal fit my overall life goals and principles. For example, I had a goal of starting a podcast and a YouTube channel to share what I learned and to help as many people as possible live a great quality life with Parkinson's. Did this goal align with my life goals and values? Yes, because that's something that was important to me, helping other people, and it was relevant to what I did. So that was a good goal for me. And then it should be meaningful and motivating to you. Is it a goal that sparks your passion and excitement? And it's just not one that you feel obligated to pursue? Let's say you wanted to lose weight. You didn't really buy into it. And is it just something that, oh, I feel obligated to do it because my spouse wants to lose weight or my friend wants to lose weight? I'm really neutral about it, or I don't care. Then if it's not meaningful and motivating to you, you're not going to do it. So in a moment, I'm going to be talking about my goals for 2024. And this was a question I asked myself, and I'll show you why they're relevant when I discuss my set of goals. And then, are they compatible with your current resources and constraints? So a couple things you need to consider: how much time you have, how much energy you have, your skills, and your access to resources when you're setting your goals. So for example, when I set a goal of starting out and doing a podcast, I had to ask myself, do I have the time and energy to do the research and prepare podcasts on a weekly basis? And then secondly, did I have the skills needed to do so? And then in terms of skills, I knew I had to learn some new things, and that took me about a month or so, but I love to learn and I love sharing with what I learned with all of you. So that was a goal that was well worth it. And then finally is T is time bound. And this means your goal should have a specific deadline or time frame for completion. Now, this is crucial for several reasons. Number one, it's going to provide you with a sense of urgency and focus. With the deadline, you're more inclined to prioritize your efforts and take action. So, for example, you might have a goal to learn how to design a website from scratch using code, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript coding. So your T or time bound might be, I'm going to learn CSS and HTML in 60 days, and that's going to help me develop the framework for my website. And then in 30 days, I'm going to learn JavaScript. And in 4 months, I will have my site code written and my website live and functional. So you have definite time frames and time parameters built into your goal. And then it helps you break down your longer term goals into manageable steps. So if you know what the overall time frame is, it's going to help guide you in creating smaller achievable milestones within that larger goal. And then finally, it's going to allow you to measure your progress and stay on track. Tracking your progress is, especially towards specific deadlines, help you identify areas where you may need to make some adjustments, but it also helps you to celebrate your achievements along the way. So that's very important as well. And then finally, it boosts motivation and accountability. So if you have some concrete deadlines to work towards, it helps create a sense of commitment, and it increases the likelihood of you seeing your goal through. So if you have deadlines you have to meet, typically say to yourself, I have to meet these deadlines, so I better complete my goal. And especially if you're bought in, it's a great motivational tool. Here's how to set some clear time-bound deadlines. Number one, you want to be specific. Instead of saying something like sometime next year, find a precise date. For example, I want to walk 3 miles a day by August 1st. And then consider realistic timeframes. Don't set yourself up for failure with overly ambitious deadlines, because you want to factor in potential challenges. Believe it or not, sometimes life gets in the way, and we all have great intentions, but if you're too over ambitious, then you're either do things that aren't done with quality, or you're just going to say, I can't make the deadline and I'm going to give up. So you want to factor in, potential challenges like, do I need to learn a new skill? Do I need to purchase equipment? That's going to take time. So you need to build all those pieces into your goal as well. And then you want to be flexible. While deadlines are important, like I said, life isn't always predictable. So build some flexibility in your time frame. Okay, now that we know the SMART framework, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, We're going to use this framework to develop goals to help live a great quality of life with Parkinson's. Now, whether you're doing things to be healthier, you want to learn new things, or help with your cognition, or goals to become more socially engaged, it's important that you write them down and then begin to take action. Now, before we move on to the next section on sharing my 2024 goals, I wanted to share an exciting offer from Audible with you. Now, if you're not familiar with Audible, they're a one-stop source for audio entertainment. Audible offers thousands of titles in audiobooks and podcasts, as well as Audible originals featuring top celebrities and renowned experts. Now, several books that I've read and recommend that are on Audible are Lucky Man, a memoir by Michael J. Fox, Musicophilia, Tales of Music in the Brain by Oliver Sacks, and 10 Breakthrough Therapies for Parkinson's Disease by Dr. Michael Oken. So these are all books that you can find on Audible. Now, in addition, Audible offers an app that makes it easier for you to listen to your favorite audiobooks and podcasts anywhere and at any time. Now, Audible is offering a new member a free 30-day trial by visiting audibletrial.com/liveparkinsons. That's audibletrial.com/liveparkinsons. Now, for full disclosure and for my own personal integrity, if you sign up for the free 30-day trial, I earn a small commission from Audible, which I use to support this podcast. If you decide to sign up for the free trial, I thank you for supporting this podcast, but please decide if this promotion is right for you. So I just wanted to make you aware that if you do sign up, that this podcast will receive a small commission to help us keep the podcast up and running. Now, I'd like to share my personal goals for 2024 as a way to reinforce what we've talked about in terms of goal setting and using the SMART framework. And it's another way of holding myself accountable for achieving my goals. First, let me share my goals with you, and then I'd like to share a brief story about why I wanted to create the goals, and hopefully it'll give you some background on why it's important for me to set these goals. Now, I set 3 major goals for 2024. The first one is to lose 60 pounds in 9 months by losing 1 to 2 pounds per week. And I have a stretch goal of losing 70 pounds in 12 months. So my why for wanting to lose weight: be healthy and active for my family and myself. I want to be around, so I want to prevent premature death. So I want to be around for my family. Number 3, I want to prevent obesity-related diseases like diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. I want to be comfortable in my clothes, and I want to be more active and prevent fatigue. So how am I going to do it? Well, I decided I'm going to eliminate and reduce sugar in my diet, reduce the consumption of refined grains. The carbohydrates I'm going to try to keep to a minimum. I'm going to eat moderate amounts of protein. I'm going to eat natural fats, avocado, olive oil, and then I'm going to eat more fiber. So as part of this, or part of my goal, I'm going to follow the Mediterranean diet, and I'm going to avoid fast food, baked goods, and unprocessed food. So I'm going to try to eat foods in as natural a state as possible. So raw fruits and vegetables, and lean meats and proteins, and then natural fats, and olives, olive oil, and then include nuts and seeds in there as well. Now, my second major goal is on exercise. And again, I want to exercise 7 days a week because I want to help slow the progression of Parkinson's. So I've set some goals to go along with that. And one is to walk a minimum of 12,000 steps a day. Number 2 is I want to do strength training 3 times a week for a minimum of 30 minutes. I'm going to participate in group fitness classes, and that includes soul fusion, bar, momentum, and water aerobics. And then I'm going to participate in the momentum class 3 times per week. And that is the class for people with Parkinson's and other neurological disorders. And then I want to do swimming. I want to swim a mile 3 times per week. And then finally, my third major goal is mind and body. I'm going to want to meditate for 10 minutes every day, and then start it and write in my gratitude journal 3 things I'm grateful for every day. So how am I going to measure this? Well, I'm going to measure weekly. I'm going to measure my weight loss in pounds and my percent weight loss. I'm going to do weekly tracking of what went well and what needs improvement. And then daily, I'm going to track my activity, the duration and frequency using my Apple Watch. And then I'm also going to track my food, what I ate for the 3 meals. I'm going to do a daily mind and body tracker. Did I, yes or no? Did I do my 10 minutes of meditation? And then monthly, I'm going to do a weight loss progress. I'm going to do percent weight loss and adherence to my diet and nutrition plan. And then rewards, I'm going to reward myself with every 10 pounds of weight loss I achieve. And I'm going to share that on social media. And I'm also going to reward myself with something small, maybe a coffee or something like that. And then as a thank you for listening, I've included the Excel spreadsheet in the description for those that are interested in setting similar goals. Let me talk about why I set these weight loss goals and exercise goals. And it's one of the reasons is it's both personal struggles that I've had, but then I also want to be able to help others as well, because I believe in sharing my story can help others overcome some of the struggles they have. So again, it's not always easy when you're in the public forum and you're talking about your own personal struggles, but here goes. I turned 60 years old in September, and from the time I was about 10 years old, I've always struggled with my weight. I used to get teased for being the fat kid, and it was something that always weighed on my mind. Why couldn't I lose weight and maintain a healthy weight like some of my friends and some of the other people I knew? I was always one of those people that would focus and then lose some weight only to put it back on again. So I bought the lifetime pass to the weight loss roller coaster ride. And then in high school, I often skipped lunch and ate a small bag of peanuts. And then I would go to football practice after school, or I was in a class play. And then I would eat a small dinner when I got home late. And that helped me from gaining a lot of weight. So I was fairly successful in keeping my weight in check when I was in high school. And then in college, even though I played college football, I still struggled to keep a consistent weight because I just love to eat. And the problem was I often chose foods that were not the best option. Pizza, snack foods, subs, ice cream. I met my wife Mary in college and was able to maintain a weight I was happy with while still not feeling like the fat kid. We got married in 1986, and in my late 20s and early 30s, I began to pack the pounds on again because I was busy with work and helping to raise 2 kids. And maybe it was stress eating or my love of food, but I always felt like I needed to eat until I was full rather than stopping when I was comfortable again. I often chose foods that led to weight gain and lots of carbs, fats, and sugar. Then when I was 35, I reached the heaviest weight I had ever been. That was 283 pounds on my 6'1" frame. And to say I was fat was an understatement. I was obese, and seeing that number on the scale was a wake-up call, and I was determined to shed the weight. So I worked hard at exercising and dieting and was able to lose 37 pounds and get down to 245 pounds. And I was proud of myself, and I said to myself, I'm never going to weigh that much again. And then I was able to maintain that for 7 or 8 years. And then when COVID hit, I started to eat again and allowed myself to gain about 20 pounds. So now I weigh about 269 pounds. So the reason I set the goals for exercise and weight loss is because I really need to focus on being healthy and being around for my family, and my son's having the first grandchild this February. So I want to be around to be able to spend time with my family. So this is a way for me to share my personal struggles, but at the same time, have you hold me accountable as well. Let's talk about overcoming challenges and living exceptionally with Parkinson's. Now, remember, we're not perfect. And even though we set achievable goals, we're going to run into challenges and obstacles because of our Parkinson's. Now, some days are going to be more challenging than others, but if we keep our eye on the prize, I know we can overcome these challenges. So let's help you, give you some strategies and hacks to help you overcome some of these challenges. The first one is embrace flexibility and adaptation. Have a plan B and C, because sometimes you're going to run into potential hurdles, and it's always nice to have backup plans. So, for instance, fatigue, medication adjustments, or flare-ups might require you to adjust your schedule or approach. So if you have a backup plan, that's definitely going to help. You want to celebrate small wins. Don't fixate on reaching the final goalpost. Recognize and celebrate progress along the way, even if it's slower than what your initial plan was. So just keep in mind that it's a journey, not a destination. Revise and refine. Be open to modifying your goals as needed. Your priorities and abilities might shift, so adapting your goals is going to help ensure that you stay relevant and motivated. So make sure that you have the ability to revise and refine your goals. The second one is fuel your resilience and positivity. Remember, you want to be positive. Count your negative thoughts with positive statements that you believe in and are going to reinforce your strengths. I am capable. I can overcome challenges. Those are positive affirmations that you can say to yourself. Visualization, imagine yourself achieving your goals. Picture yourself mastering a new skill, losing weight, exercising, boosting your confidence, whatever it happens to be. And then as part of that, practice gratitude. Focus on what you're grateful for. Even when facing, challenges, it helps create a positive environment, and keeping a gratitude journal and sharing your thankful thoughts with your friends and family is going to go a long way in helping you as well. And then finally, build a support system. You want to surround yourself with positive and supportive people that you can lean on for encouragement, and you can celebrate victories together. And then finally, you can join online communities and forums with people that have similar experiences that can help you along the way. So those are the key pieces to setting goals. And again, let's go back and just review that as part of goal setting, you want to, if you use the SMART process, you want your goals to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And then you want to be able to buy into your goals, because if you don't buy into your goals, you're not going to achieve your goals. And then some of the hacks and strategies that you can use: just be flexible, have a backup plan, celebrate your small wins, and have the ability to revise your plan when necessary. And then be resilient. Be resilient and positive, because remember I told you earlier that they said successful people have up to 14 setbacks within a 2-year time frame. So don't let setbacks get you down. As I close this podcast, I want to thank you for listening. And if you would, check out my trailer on YouTube for the new YouTube channel, Tremors to Triumph, as part of the Live Parkinson's Live an Exceptional Life umbrella. And let me know what you think. And I greatly appreciate you listening to this podcast. And I hope to see you soon on future podcasts. Thanks again.